Once upon a time, there was a big, old house by the woods. It looked empty, but it always felt like someone was watching. One day, 5 friends, Sarah, Jake, Emma, Noah, and Mia, decided to play hide and seek in that spooky house. They had heard stories about the house. Some said a man lived there a long time ago and never left. But the kids weren't scared. They were excited to play. Sarah, the oldest, was the seeker. She covered her eyes and started counting 1, 2, 3. The others ran off to hide. Emma hid behind a big, broken wardrobe. Mia hid in a closet full of old clothes. Noah crawled under a squeaky bed. Jake hid behind a heavy curtain. The house felt cold and the floor creaked. But the friends laughed and thought it was all part of the game. 30. Ready or not, here I come, Sarah shouted. She searched the house, looking in every room. She went to the curtain, but Jake wasn't there. That's weird, Sarah thought. Then she heard a soft giggle upstairs. Emma, she called, running up the stairs. Upstairs, the air was even colder. She called again, Emma, but no one answered. She opened a door and saw a room with a cracked mirror and a big, dusty bed. She noticed a shadow behind the door. Thinking it was one of her friends, she walked closer. But when she opened the door, no one was there. Suddenly, Sarah heard footsteps behind her. Guys, this isn't funny anymore, Sarah said, scared. Downstairs, Emma and Mia heard Sarah and got worried. They also heard heavy breathing outside their closet door. Mia froze, too scared to move. The door slowly creaked open, but no one was there. Then, it slammed shut with a loud bang. Emma and Mia screamed, trying to push the door open, but it was stuck. They were trapped. Meanwhile, Noah was hiding under the bed, and he heard footsteps. He held his breath, trying to stay quiet. Suddenly, he felt something cold touch his hand. He looked, and saw a pale, bony hand reaching out from under the bed. Noah screamed and ran out of the room, shouting for help. Sarah heard him and rushed to find him. She found him in the hallway, shaking with fear. What happened? She asked. It grabbed me, Noah said, pointing to the room. Just then, Jake appeared, looking scared. It's not one of us, he said. There's someone else in the house. Panic filled the room. They knew they weren't just playing anymore. Something was after them. Suddenly, the door at the end of the hallway opened by itself. A dark figure stepped out. It was tall, with glowing yellow eyes. It growled low, making them freeze in fear. Run! Sarah shouted, and they ran downstairs. They ran to the front door, but it wouldn't open. They were trapped. The figure slowly walked down the stairs, getting closer and closer. Emma and Mia were still trapped in the closet, screaming for help. The others heard them but couldn't get to them. Jake, break the window, Sarah yelled. Jake threw a chair at the window, but it didn't break. It was like the house didn't want them to leave. The figure was now at the bottom of the stairs, staring at them. It spoke in a voice that sounded like it came from the ground. You shouldn't have come here. Suddenly, the lights went out, and the figure disappeared. The house was quiet, but they knew it wasn't over. We need to get out of here, Sarah whispered. They ran through the house, but every door was locked and every window sealed. The house wasn't letting them go. Then, they saw the figure again, standing at the end of the hallway. It looked even bigger now, with eyes glowing in the dark. Split up, Sarah said. They ran in different directions. Sarah found a small room and locked the door behind her. She could hear the figure's footsteps getting closer. The door creaked open. The figure stepped inside, its yellow eyes searching for her. It got closer, closer. But then, it stopped. It turned its head, listening to something. Then, it left the room. Sarah let out a deep breath. She had to find the others. They needed to get out. She found the others hiding in a small closet. We need to go to the attic, Sarah said. Maybe there's a way out up there. They ran to the attic, the figure still somewhere in the house. The attic door creaked open, and they saw a small window. This is it, Jake said, climbing up the ladder. He opened the window, but as he did, the figure appeared at the bottom of the ladder. Quick! Sarah shouted. They pushed each other up the ladder, one by one. Just as Sarah was about to climb through the window, the figure grabbed her ankle. She screamed. Noah and Jake pulled hard, finally getting her free. They crawled out of the window and down the roof, running away from the house as fast as they could. They didn't stop running until they were far away. The house stood in the distance, still and quiet, but they knew the figure was still inside, waiting for the next game to start. The friends learned that some doors are better left unopened, and not every game is worth playing, so next time, watch out where curiosity leads you, and don't ignore the warnings.